Do you want to speak on how do you differentiate between ungrounding emotion and centered emotion?
Yes, I do want to speak on how we differentiate between ungrounded emotions and centered emotions. Because the language is tricky, it makes us think they're the same, right? When I say I feel grateful or happy, there might be a sense that that it's emotions in general. Charge is emotion, right? They have some emotions have some volatility if it's a charge, and so that charge can be happy, exuberant, delighted, giddy, gleeful. That's one type of charge. We call those charges positive emotions, and we live in a society where we're taught it's good to be positive, not so good to be negative. Yeah, negative, unhappy, depressed, sad, anxious, guilty, whatever. So one are valued, the other are shamed, right? This is the world that we live in, and truly any of them will create some kind of imbalance in the system. Whether we're positive or negative in these ways, if we're in these emotional states, there's some imbalance in the system. Now, the more in tune we are with our systems, the more aware we are of what is my default, what is my baseline, what is my centered state. These are those grounded states that you asked of. Then we know when there's some deviation. And they can change. My earlier self, the default state was like this apathy, misery kind of low level. That was my default state. Like it was just, yeah, I don't give a fuck about anything or like it was just a low level apathy and kind of misery. And it's then changed to centered state, like a gratitude. And then recently I've had an experience with someone that when I was with them, I noticed when I felt in the system delight, right? There was quite a bit of delight, joy, giddiness, glee. I noticed myself laughing a lot and I could feel there was more dopamine in my system than normally. Still a charge. This person triggers me. Let me work out what this is about.
Triggers me
because I'm triggered into delight out of my centered state.
I never heard anyone using trigger in that.
Correct, because we live in a society where people only think a trigger is a bad thing. And I knew that I was triggered by this person because I wasn't centered around him. I was feeling delighted. And so I was curious. What might that be? There has to be some meaning making happening. If we're going to be like, if there's an emotion like that, emotions are the byproducts of thoughts. There's meaning making happening. I mightn't have been aware of what the meaning making was, but I knew it was happening because I could feel the emotion. I could feel the byproduct. So I investigated. Mindfully, deliberately, intentionally. Let me share space with this person. Let me discover, what is this about? I learned many things about myself in this experience with this person, and in the process even changed my new baseline is now more delight. It's changed from a baseline of this kind of gratitude, contentment as a baseline state, like a quiet, happy. Now my baseline's more like a joyful, gleeful state as a result of this interaction, right? So that still a centered state. Now it doesn't require, like, there's nothing that has to happen for me to feel joyful and gleeful. And it's, I'm not saying that it's, well, one can choose if apathy is preferred or if grateful is preferred. I just observe what turns up. I just observe, that was what was there. This is what's here now. That's what turned. On the way over here, I was like, I just noticed sadness arrived. I just noticed I had a thought that was like this. And there was some sadness that came from that thought. That was what was there in that moment. Next moment, different experience.
Every moment.
Every moment. Every moment.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for honoring me with asking the questions.
My pleasure.